Guys, welcome. Vibhu, Victor, Brijesh. Very good to see you.
Thank you, Anand.
Amazing. So, Vibhu, tell us a little bit about the current status of the business, right? Where are we? What are we doing? And where do we want to go?
Got it. I'll just start off with what we are doing and where we are then.
Hmm.
So we are an education financing platform whose main goal is to ensure that we are able to democratize access to financing for all students that are taking up courses in India or abroad. So the broader objective that we have in mind is to ensure that financing is never a hurdle for anyone looking to pursue any education course. Where we started off was the online small ticket size loans. That was the point where we started off with the online skilling institute. From there, we moved on to the K 12 space. Again, people were providing supplementary test preparation services to students, that too online. It was during the time of COVID. From there on, we have moved on to the offline mediums of education. So we started off again with the test preparation segment, the likes of Alain Akash, who are providing JE training, NET training, IAS training, and such services. We have grown quite rapidly in that segment. Now we will be one of the top one or two lenders across the space with some of the major players that are there. From there, the next focus area was to go into the degree space, which are slightly longer term in nature. There, we have made a good push. We have made our presence felt in some of the MBA colleges starting off. From there on, we are planning to move to the other parts of the higher education domain. So this is the way we have gone after the market. Education abroad is something that would require slightly higher ticket size supply side. So these are the key domains that we have expanded our presence in. We have grown 100 crore loan dispersal, some annual dispersal, some 2 years back to 1200 crores that we are targeting this year. We have already done 800 crores of disbursement. So another 400 crore in the next 3 months is something that we see us doing and getting to the target that we had set for ourselves.
Very sizable, Vibhu. Right?
Actually, so in the online space, I think we have our presence in all the major institutes that you can name of. So, along with the institutes we are growing, the greenfield project that we went after was the offline, which is a far bigger market than what the online was. So, almost 5 to 6 times the size of the online market. So, that space is actually very large, and our penetration is still very low, around 3 to 4%. So, long way to go, but we are quite excited.
So great progress, Vibhu. Short span of probably like what 4 years or so. If I can go to Victor and Brijesh, or how why this space? It's a difficult space. Educational loans don't necessarily have great outcomes amongst banks or new age lenders. So why this space? What was your journey? Also, if you can tell us, how did you guys know each other? How did you guys find each other?
Anand, there's an interesting story behind this. We three are school friends. Like we go back to class six, so that helps. Like every day we
Wow.
have a fight, but at the end of the day, and we come from different ideology. Like Bibhu is more of a person who is like discipline, finance. Victor is more of grow karna hai, and but we all have a share of fights. And Bibhu's parents are also colleagues. So at the end of the day, कोई ego, there is no ego amongst us. सुबह उठते हैं, हाँ बोल दिया, चलो we'll do what is best for the team or the company. That's why we are here. मतलब it has been more than 8 years. I was from non-IT, तो for me, for them to accept me as a co-founder, initial struggles थे. Me and Victor started a company called Stock Up in Bombay that was into hyper-local grocery. So Victor one day called me कि यार everybody is raising 100 crore. You come to Bombay, 100 crore उठ जाएगा. So he went to my father. My father from a government background told क्या होगा. Victor बोला 100 crore उठ जाएगा. My father 100 crore funding. हाँ everybody. That is back in 2014 early days,
Wow.
2015 ish. तो मैं सोचा हाँ funding उठ जाएगा. So I left my job. I was doing something parallel in entrepreneurship, but dreaming something big. I went to Bombay and वहां गए देखा प्याज किलो 20 रुपए 30 रुपए एंड वी आर डिलीवरिंग. विक्टर ये क्या हो रहा है. People are people used to call us, shut the door on us, like we used to deliver. We understood that hyper local grocery space कि यार ये हम 100 करोड़ उठाने की बात करेंगे पर यहाँ तो पैसे ही नहीं बन रहे. वहाँ I took a 5 lakh loan from HSBC when I started this. 5 लाख उठाया और उसी प्रिंसिपल से ही मैं इंटरेस्ट दे रहा था, मतलब 5 लाख, मतलब उसी लोन से मैं अपना ईएमआई दे रहा था। हाँ, अच्छे दिन तो आएंगे, मतलब कुछ कर लेंगे।
सही है, सही
देन
है।
द ट्रांजिशन वाज यार
You
एक,
you
एंड
understood
इट वाज माय फर्स्ट
student
जॉब।
loans very well. Student loans very well, huh?
हाँ, तो आनंद फिर वी बट वी आई ऑलवेज बिलीव विक्टर ने सोचा होगा तो यार कूद जाते हैं, आई ट्रस्टेड हिम, स्कूल दोस्त है। एंड देन वी वेंट टू बॉम्बे, एंड वहाँ आनंद द ट्रांजिशन वाज डिफरेंट। विद एचएसबीसी वाज माय फर्स्ट जॉब, सैटरडे संडे पब जाते थे, कार्ड स्वाइप करते थे। यहाँ वी वेंट एंड एक पीजी में रहा जहाँ बेडबग हुआ। वो थोड़ा स्ट्रगल था, मतलब स्ट्रगल, आई डोंट वांट टू ग्लोरीफाई स्ट्रगल, पर थोड़ा चेंज था, यू नो। एंड फिर बट हम लोग एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जब कुछ हो नहीं रहा था, जाते थे, वी यूज्ड टू गो टू सनी, दैट वाज अ स्मॉल बार इन फ्रंट ऑफ आईआईटी पवाई। जाते थे एंड वी यूज्ड टू सिट एंड बोलते थे हाँ कर लेंगे, कुछ ना कुछ तो कर लेंगे। एंड वो एक डर था कि यार घर पे छोड़ के आए हैं, प्रूफ तो करना है, करना है। एंड दैट इज हाउ यू नो मी विक्टर स्टार्टेड स्टॉकअप। एंड ब्यूटीफुल डेज, मतलब काफी। एंड 8 साल हो गया है जर्नी फ्रॉम स्टॉकअप टू प्रोपेल्ड, आई थिंक। या आई थिंक विक्टर विल कंटिन्यू फ्रॉम स्टॉकअप हाउ वी मेट।
So Anand,
थिंक
let me.
एक चीज यहाँ पे, सॉरी टू इंटरजेक्ट, यहाँ पे एक चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ईस्ट इंडिया में, लाइक स्पेशली उड़ीसा में, बिजनेस आर नॉट लुक्ड एट एज अ गुड थिंग टू डू। सो जब बिजनेस में कोई घुसता है तो पेरेंट्स का भी बहुत ज्यादा, देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ रिएक्शन फ्रॉम पेरेंट्स, जैसे
देखो, बॉम्बे में भी ना और बैंगलोर में भी ग्रोसरी डिलीवरी का कोई बहुत ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट नहीं मिलता है। नॉट
हाँ
जस्ट ईस्ट
हाँ,
इंडिया।
मतलब वो बोलते थे।
ईस्ट इंडिया के पेरेंट्स काफी स्मार्ट हैं।
नहीं नहीं, तो हमारे पेरेंट्स काफी एक दूसरे को जानते थे ना। विक्टर के पापा, मेरे पापा यूज्ड टू वर्क टुगेदर, सो
हम्म।
देयर यूज्ड टू बी, यार ये लोग क्या स्टार्टअप वार्टअप कर रहे हैं ये लोग, जॉब वॉब अच्छा खासा जॉब था छोड़ दिया एंड ऑल दैट। बट सो द बैकग्राउंड दैट वी कम फ्रॉम इज स्लाइटली डिफरेंट, जहाँ पे बिजनेस।
आनंद, एक इंटरेस्टिंग एनेक्डोट बताता हूँ। बिफोर व्हेन आई वाज लुकिंग फॉर अलायंसेस एंड सीरीज भी उठा, मैंने बोला उड़िया पेपर में डालना जरूरी है कि भुवनेश्वर का लड़का पीआर को मैंने आया टोल्ड कि उड़ीसा पेपर में आना चाहिए, मेरा नाम आना चाहिए, इन दोनों का नहीं आना चाहिए। और मेरा एक फोटो आया
क्या
था,
बात
और
है।
वो फिर मैं आई स्टार्टेड सर्कुलेटिंग एवरीवेयर।
क्या बात है। That was a good hack. By the way, Bibhu, one of the founders called me saying कि आनंद यार मेरा ना ये फोर्ब्स 30 में नहीं आया है अभी तक। मैं बोला क्यों चाहिए तेरे को काम करना? बोले नहीं यार वो
शादी।
बिजनेस के लिए नहीं चाहिए, सोशल लाइफ के लिए चाहिए।
अरे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। लोग बिल्कुल मानते ही नहीं है कि हम लोग कुछ काम कर भी रहे हैं टाइप्स।
सही
मतलब
बात।
उनको पेरेंट्स एंड ऑल आर वेरी लाइक कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं। माय
And now what
पेरेंट्स
do
तो
you
अभी
do?
तक डोंट एक्सेप्ट कि कुछ कर रहा है ये अपना भला।
You are absolutely right. I think the biggest barrier has been that mental barrier to sort of
Hmm.
overcome. When I quit after just 1 year at DB, I think that first year was still again a honeymoon period. This was between 2014 to 2015. I was running a company called Astroworks. I was doing it with a senior from IIT Madras. You know, even after doing an MBA, we were absolutely zero with respect to business. Of that 12 months, we spent about 9 months just building that product. We didn't take that product out to the market. It's as stupid as it can get. On the 10th month, we just walked into a school and started doing some sort of sales. I think that was the first initiation towards doing any sort of real sales. Then, जब ब्रिजेश आया, Astroworks didn't work out for various reasons. I think one of the major things was कि as founders, me and my co-founder, we wanted different things. It just didn't work out that way. So then, when Brijesh came in, when we were doing stock up, what we built at stock up is, I guess, we built that confidence that we can scale something with very minimal money. That's all we
Hmm.
built. At basically, we had zero money. We were not investing anything. We were sitting out of somebody's office at Powai Plaza, again a senior's office at Powai Plaza, and we were able to get it to a point where we were doing about 50 orders in that Powai and Chandivali area, which we felt was a win because we were competing with the likes of Grofers and other people. But you know what? There we realized that bhai, scale is not everything. The unit economics has to make sense. Day I realized that was when I realized that we are losing 500 rupees per order, and it was a day where I am soaking wet and I am delivering the order in front of a lady who is shutting the door in front of me.
Wow.
I was like, मैं अपनी लाइफ में कर क्या रहा
Victor,
हूँ जो 500
by the
रुपए.
way, the humility you learned in Powai Plaza as against Supreme Business Park, right? So humility काफी
जी,
काफी अच्छा आता है Powai Plaza के अंदर।
absolutely. Very very humbling experience. And uske baad, we got to a point, Brijesh, as Brijesh mentioned, we were living I think that was a lowest point of our lives for me and Brijesh also. After spending for me, it had been 2 years. We were questioning our self worth. We were questioning what we could sort of achieve. Where did we have a place? It felt like nobody was with us. That's where started going to Sunny's and sitting over a fish fry and a bottle of beer. Thankfully, Anand, we were so desperate that I remember the day we called Bibhu, we were actually scrolling through our contact key. Who is the guy that we can call? And we called Bibhu. And Bibhu was there at Delhi. He was leading a good life. He had gone through, come through IMC. He was in a boutique investment banking firm. Foreign travel kar raha tha. He was doing well wahan pe. So, and Bibhu, without any shred of any doubt or any pause, he just told us, "Ki guys, first thing that you need is some sort of stability. सब कुछ छोड़ के दिल्ली आ जाओ." And we trusted his word. We packed everything. We closed down, stock up. We moved to Delhi, and Delhi was a good nurturing environment for us because it was like it was like hostel days again. There were a bunch of people. कुछ लोग startups कर रहे थे. We felt हमारी community वहाँ पे थी. तो दैट गेव अस दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ मेंटल बैंडविड्थ कि यार लेट्स थिंक अबाउट कि हम लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं. आई थिंक द ओनली थॉट एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वाज कि यार लेट्स डू समथिंग व्हिच गिव्स अस मनी. मे बी वी ओवर कॉम्पेंसेटेड अ लिटिल बिट फ्रॉम प्रोडक्ट कि ये बेच देंगे जहां पे यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं है, बहुत सारा स्केल करेंगे फिर पैसे का देखेंगे, टू ओवर कॉम्पेंसेटिंग ऑन कि यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स बहुत ज्यादा होगा. And when we started Pristine Cut, and we did quite well in Pristine Cut. We had gotten some confidence. We made about 60 lakh worth of revenue and about 30 lakh worth of profits in about 8 to 9 months. So that was going decently well. That's when I think Bibhu, because that environment was of that startup environment, me and Brijesh were there. Bibhu was also influenced to a certain degree. He started thinking कि क्या करना चाहिए. That's when वो he's a little academic. तो वो मिल्टन फ्रीडमैन की वो जो एक there's a big paper, वो उसने पढ़ा कि कैसे how investment in education is not a should not be thought of as a private investment but more like a public investment because it benefits the society as a whole. And what's the best way that he had proposed is an equity investment because it will align every stakeholder to have skin in the game. um,
Agree.
then we started
That's something we're
researching.
trying to do with Masai, right? That's the ideal
Absolutely.
model.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. We are trying to do that. Although, just for example, at a bunch of institutes, when we do some sort of risk sharing or some protection, the idea is that. So the when we started working on Propel, me and Brijesh, it was more about our full time job was Pristine Cut, but we were helping out Bibhu in sort of hashing this out a lot more. So we spoke to a bunch of people, bankers, I am Calcutta alumni, bunch of people कि I am Calcutta में हम लोग इसको build कर सकते हैं क्या, bunch of places. Then an accelerator program करके आया था, startup boot camp, fintech accelerator था. They were starting for the first time in India. They had quite a good name for being a good fintech accelerator in Europe. We applied for that and they called us. So when we came to Mumbai, our horizon just expanded a lot because we ended up meeting about 25, 30 odd senior bankers, people in the industry, and it felt like everybody was really excited about. And finally when we got selected in that accelerator program and they told us that they can give us some sort of very early seed money, some 10-15 lakh, uh, then we started seriously thinking about Propelled, me and Brijesh. And finally all three of us came across the table and we thought here, matlab, if we have me and Brijesh, it was like here we didn't leave our jobs to do what we were doing at Pristine Cut. Pristine Cut was great. It's giving great money. We could build it as a great business. But what we always wanted to do is to build something differential, build something creative, and make it very large, have a very large impact. So, and Bibhu was also of the opinion कि अगर तुम लोग भी करोगे, I'll also quit my job. And we felt कि यार, let's do it. And all three of us again, started on Propelled. That's how that entire journey of Propelled started.
Great. And Victor, you had pitched Pristine Cuts to me, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then you came back again with the early version of Propelled, right? This is your fourth
Ji,
startup.
ji.
And again, VC said no to it in the first version, right? Tell us
Ji.
about it.
So, for us, that was like a improvement because at the Pristine Cut. I think I would have spoken with you because Fareed made that introduction, and probably a couple of other VCs at Pristine, at Propelled. Coming to Bangalore was helpful because we moved out of our comfort zone and actually started meeting people. The positive that we took was that, we ended up meeting so many people. Everybody had different ideas. I think I remember Madhukar grilling me like anything. When we first pitched about Propelled, it was in your Mumbai office, and
Mm.
Madhukar took a big lesson, and that was eye opening. It sent us back to our board, but all of those interactions actually helped us in refining the product. We didn't take it negatively because for us it was an improvement from where we had last started. We were confident on our back end also because we had started seeing some sort of traction and seeing some form of the so-called product market fit, because we had started a small project at Calcutta with an institute called Ivy Professional School, and we could see those Calcutta University students coming in, and we could see small glimpses of why they like our product and what we could potentially do. And when everybody said no, it was definitely, it
फिर भी
was.
it took you like almost 2 years to raise a seed round in Propelled also, right, Vibhu?
Yes, I think 2018 we raised that we won that competition that we participated in, that
Right.
gave us 15 lakhs. I
Uh,
think it took us almost one year to raise a very small angel round from IAN. I
yes.
think 1.5 years of constant pitching and getting rejected. After that, the IAN thing happened. I think 6 months after that, the series pre-series A round
Yeah.
happened.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
So,
we were trying hard, and any money that we could gather from investors, we were ready to close it and just go ahead with the
so
execution.
Vibhu, just to double click on this,
Hmm.
you guys are doing a fintech company in education space. None of you have experience of education or lending, or none of you is a techie, right? So it's a very interesting combination. I can see that, like, you were just chasing what you read in Milton Friedman's book, right? Which is good, amazing, right? It's a good thing to have. But as you got in, right, did you feel that you lack the domain knowledge or lack the skills to do this?
Definitely. To be honest, everything in the financial world actually revolves a lot around relationships. So, in the lending space that we wanted to crack, for that you need to sort out your supply side first, and for that you need to have good working relationships with lenders, banks, NBFCs, or HNIs. I think we never thought about it in that way. When we were starting the company, I think all three of us, what we wanted to have is a end vision which is beautiful enough to always chase after that. Like, no matter the problems, you will always wake yourself up and be motivated that I'm going after that. So I'll never be beaten down. So even if there are low points during that journey, you still wake up and see, okay, I have that vision. If I am able to accomplish, that will be a big thing. So we never actually analyzed which startup to do based on the skill sets we have. We thought that we wanted to build a company which is like a grand thing in the future. So Brijesh is that guy who is very successful in building very successful relationships with people.
Right.
Victor is a very disciplined and strict sort of guy. उसको एक तरीके से चाहिए तो उसी तरीके से करना है. तो it fit in very nicely with what risk and credit is supposed to be in a startup, I will say. So हम तीनों में से best place था Victor. I am more of a guy who is maybe I will say execution level पे थोड़ा weak होगा, but I have in my mind कि आगे जाके हमें क्या करना है, उसके steps क्या होने चाहिए, वो मुझे थोड़ा नॉलेज रहता है. तो हम तीनों का एक in a way the rose panned out the way in which our personality was, I would say.
Fabulous. And how do you enjoy your current roles, right? I mean, these are not things you've done, and I can see the reasons you picked it up because अब ये by default मेरे पास में आ गया है, सेल्स तो कर लिया, और वेक्टर का भी कोई रिस्क का कुछ पता नहीं है, by default आया तो कर लिया. But are you enjoying your roles now?
अभी
What was
आनंद,
that?
या वी एंजॉयड, मतलब वो तो बहुत, मतलब वो सेल्स का जो इनिशियल नंबर्स, हर दिन जो पल्स, वो तो काफी सही था। मतलब आई डिड इट फॉर आई थिंक 2018 टू लास्ट ईयर तक, एंड आई थिंक वी लव्ड इट। वंस यू गेट इनटू दैट सेल्स रोल, यू बिकम ए सेल्स पर्सन, मतलब धंधा समझ में आता है।
Awesome.
I
Victor,
think
you were saying
Anand,
something?
I think Anand, more than enjoyment, I think as a co-founder, when we have ownership, I think waking up or sleeping any time, you sort of think about how you can do best in that role. Although we were not professionally, we didn't have that experience, but again, we had a good set of mentors. We networked and got to mentors, and we the idea, at least personally, my idea was that I should aim to learn at least 80%, 90% of what that guy knows, in as short a time as possible.
एक्सपीरियंस था भी नहीं तो वी वर ऑलवेज रेडी टू लर्न टाइप्स
Hmm.
आई गेस we were ready to absorb whatever was thrown at us, I would say.
Amazing, amazing. And you did not play a lot of startup games, right? I mean, very understated existence as a startup. And how was the initial journey, right? After raising money from Stellaris and India Quotient, you then went on to discover a market. Right? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think the first thing that happened with the Stellaris and IQ round was at least we started taking out some salary, which where we could survive, I would say, rather than digging into our savings. So till that point of time, we were just relying on our savings to sustain. On a broader term, it brought the form of stability, and along with it, brought guidance of yourself and Ritesh. So people
Yeah.
who had experience about how startups are run. So when two people who are in the ecosystem start trusting you or believing you, so it gives a sort of confidence कि हाँ, maybe we are on the right track, and some people who are experienced, who have had successes in the domain, are relying on us. That means we may be doing something good. So that was the first point. एक था कि हमें थोड़ा confidence आया. दूसरा thing था कि हमें थोड़ा mind also became a bit stable with the initial capital coming in.
Hmm.
Third thing was कि since the capital was coming in, we needed to give some sort of results to the investor. उससे पहले तो किसी का capital substantially लगा नहीं था. So we started thinking along कि अगर पैसे लगे तो how do we ensure that the investors are going to make the sort of money that they are expecting to make out of this company. तो उसके लिए हम लोग जो कर रहे थे उस टाइम पे, it was not enough. The total market was not enough to provide the sort of returns that investors would require from investing in us. So वहां से हमें फिर नए नए में जाना ही पड़ा. मतलब we had to
The
go there.
segments.
And since once the money comes in, also the timer starts, right? The return requirement starts building up. So we needed to discover first segments, execute those, and expand or scale up those things in a way so that we are able to do a justice to the faith being shown by the investors, I would say. The journey was 1 2 years stuck. It was good. We were expanding, we were earning decent money, but then the COVID hit us at that
Yeah.
point of time.
Yeah.
So COVID, I think what it did to us was that हम लोग the expectation that we had कि in 1.5 to 2 years time we would be able to raise a follow-on round to survive for the next 3 years or to achieve our goals that we are looking for. Since the funding did not come in at that point of time, we had to ensure कि हम लोग कैसे we are able to make enough cash flow from the existing company that we are able to survive till the COVID period is over. So
Hmm.
from that point onwards, segment expansion was the first 1 to 1.5 years goal till the COVID hit us. उसके बाद तो we had to generate enough cash flow to survive. तो उसके बाद हमारा focus has always been to improve the fundamentals of the business that we are doing. To first enable unit economics अच्छे हैं, और अगर अच्छे नहीं हैं, to take it to a point where the money that we are making from each loan is going to be able to sustain us without having to depend on एक्सटर्नल कैपिटल. उस पॉइंट से हम लोग एक्सटर्नल कैपिटल के ऊपर डिपेंडेंसी घटाना चाहते थे, एंड ऑल आवर स्टेप्स, ऑल आवर efforts have been put in that direction that at any point of time, if there is some macroeconomic shock or something, we cannot foresee all the changes that happen in the economic context. So if anything happens, we are still able to survive. It is not like we have to
Vibhu,
fire or.
while you tried to become profitable and cash flow positive, you
Hmm.
also grew quite rapidly after discovering that, right?
Yes.
Quite efficiently. So, would you
Yes.
say that this COVID and austerity and focus after that was actually a blessing in disguise for you?
Yes, I think one or two things we did right, I would say, going up to COVID. One was ensuring that we understood what the lenders require. So, one of our uh, key stakeholders in the entire business are the lenders. And lenders are always looking to deploy good quality portfolio. Basically, they want to deploy more and more capital in good quality portfolio. And whenever there is an economic shock, they will start cutting fundings from the higher risk portfolios, but they will never stop funding the low risk portfolios, because they also have to make money somehow. So they
Right.
cannot stop lending as whole. They have to do lending, but the portfolios that are higher risk in nature, they will get cut off from the supply side. So
Hmm.
that is one thing we had done till the point the COVID came, that we had maintained a good portfolio quality.
Amazing. And in terms of culture, what lessons did you learn? And what do you still continue from that experience of going through COVID, becoming profitable?
I would say, अगर apart from frugality, if frugality वो that got enhanced during that period of time, उससे पहले जितने भी
Sure.
थे उससे ज़्यादा होने लगे.
Huh.
The second thing, I guess, we took away from that experience is that maybe what everyone is doing in the industry may not be the right thing to do. Uh,
Very
it
interesting.
is it is okay to be different. Maybe you can matlab, maybe what you are doing will prove to be right uh, in the longer time frame. Maybe what you are doing in the maybe what you are planned on doing, that may be very different, and that is not providing you the growth that you require in the shorter period of time frame, but in the long run maybe it will all work out. So I think we had a very different thesis to what the other players were doing in the market, and that worked out during the COVID. Actually, we took a bet and it worked out, I will say.
Amazing.
Yeah, my opinion on this is there are two type of companies, and one company which is a done and dusted business model where a startup is coming, trying to create efficiencies and build a business out of it. There you can hire people, you have cash, you can hire people those who have done it previously, and with your mentorship they can run the ship. But education, domestic education in India is a category creation. In
Hmm.
category creation, Anand, we have to believe ourselves. If we believe we will hire the best people with due respect and give them the highest salary and get it on our board and they will execute it, it's very difficult. There is no success story, there is no proven formula. I'll share some anecdotes. So when you invested our when I think we are doing a 1 crore a month, तब आनंद 10 crore पर मंथ भी नहीं दिख रहा था. I used to tell Victor 10 crore per month में ये मार्केट रुक जाएगा. And that market is the market I am talking about. Is that particular market has now turned into 100 crore market. And we used to see, and when हमारे बात अरे आनंद ने देखा है तो मार्केट तो बड़ा है. मतलब what learning I used to give is market should be big. You should have enough money to sustain, to find the right product in that market. If you have the courage and the money to be alive till you find the right product in a large market, you are home. That is my biggest learning in a startup. मुझे 1,000 crore दिखता ही नहीं था. अभी अभी मुझे छह पहले 10 दिखा, फिर 100 दिखा, अभी तो 6,000 दिख रहा है. एंड आई नो जब 6,000 करूंगा 60,000 भी दिख जाएगा. एंड आई थिंक
ब्रिटिश ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात बोली है, राइट? आई मीन मतलब ना, जो व्हेन पीपल सम पीपल आर हैप्पी विथ यू
शायद
नो
आनंद आपको मार्केट दिख गया था हमसे पहले. आई बिलीव, आई थिंक
हाँ,
व्हेन यू इन्वेस्टेड
ब्रिटिश मैं भी यही
भारत
देखता हूँ.
आपको दिख गया था, हमें अभी दिख रहा है.
Actually, there were some other board members who were not sure about the market, I thought at some point. But मैं बताऊं मतलब क्या
यस
होता था
यस
कि मैंने जहां पे भी मतलब मुझे लगता है कि मार्केट पे हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस जो है ना, फाउंडर का और इन्वेस्टर का, एज एन अंडरडॉग दैट इज आवर बिगेस्ट एसेट. हमारा वहां पे अगर फेथ नहीं है तो बाकी सब जो आप लोगों ने अचीव किया वो मुश्किल है बहुत, राइट? बिकॉज वो उतना ड्राइव तो मतलब मार्केट बड़ा है तभी तो आपको पुश मिल रहा है ना रोज. और
यस
वो फेथ तो सी वी विल एनीवेज फेल, राइट? And usually pivots and all, they don't really succeed, right? I mean, of course it's easy to pivot after raising $100 million, but pivoting without money in the bank, it never succeeds. So you have to have faith, and the board or investor, right, has to bring in that alignment of vision. Ki boss, yes, you see a big thing. I also see a big thing at the end of this. The market is very good, and we'll make it big, right? Because that alignment is like the most supreme alignment. We need to have that blind faith, you know.
आनंद, इफ आई मे, आई थिंक मतलब हम तीनों में से मैं सबसे ज्यादा ब्लाइंड फेथ पे चल रहा था वहां पे, कि
हाँ
मुझे हमेशा लगता था कि यार एजुकेशन कैसे छोटा हो सकता है, मुझे पता नहीं कि
Absolutely.
10 करोड़ तो तुझे दिख रहा है, ठीक है, बट मतलब 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा नहीं दिख रहा है, बट यार कुछ ना कुछ फिगर आउट कर लेंगे एजुकेशन में, तो मतलब हजारों बतेरे ऐसे, मतलब देर आर इंस्टीट्यूट्स, कुछ ना कुछ कर लेंगे. सो आई फील मतलब वो एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होता है, अदरवाइज यू कैन potentially stop.
So, guys, I spoke to Rebel Foods, right? And as you know, Rebel Foods went through a discovery of starting offline, and then going to cloud kitchens, sort of 7 8 years after being into existence, right? And that transformed the company. And it's not been like such a long journey for you in education, but personally, right? As entrepreneurs, you had a long journey. We talked about something called a slow unicorn. Everybody aspires to be the fastest unicorn, but you guys are very happy to be a slow unicorn. Do you consciously see that, or it's irrelevant? Unicorn is irrelevant for you. You're happy to just keep waking up, have full energy, work, and then wait for tomorrow.
Is an external validation, the valuation of the company. Uh, in a startup scenario, actually, you don't get much validation. Like founders do not get validation. Like in corporate, every year there is an appraisal. You get catcha, you did a good work. Now take this bonus as a reward for this. So in startup, when you are building something, there is no sort of validation that is available to us, and valuations have become a sort of, I would say, validation.
Hmm.
But I think all three of us strongly believe is that the actual validation will come when the retail investors are validating, okay, whatever you have built, we are ready to invest in it. Uh, so we,
यार ये
हम
बिबू
लोग,
थोड़ा थोड़ा ज्यादा हो रहा है मतलब नॉर्मली
आई वुड, हाँ मतलब मैं अगर
आईआईटी के
देखूंगा,
आईआईएम में, हाँ, वैलिडेशन तो आपको पीयर वैलिडेशन भी चाहिए ना. मतलब
हाँ
फॉर
पेयर
एग्जांपल,
वाले,
विक्टर गॉट कनेक्टेड टू मी वाया फरीद, राइट?
हाँ
तो फरीद तो मतलब स्ट्रांग बिलीवर है यूनिकॉर्न के अंदर.
आई नो. पता नहीं, अभी हम लोग वैसे नहीं सोच रहे हैं. वो वैल्यूएशन वैल्यूएशन से ज्यादा अभी हमारा फर्स्ट ऑर्डर ऑफ बिजनेस इज टू गेट टू द फाइनेंशियल मेट्रिक्स दैट वी सी द बेस्ट इन क्लास फाइनेंसिंग कंपनीज डीलिंग विद. तो
ओके.
दैट इज आवर गोल राइट नाउ. पहले वो पहुंचते हैं, फिर सोचते हैं वैल्यूएशन के बारे में कि कैसे, कौन सा वैल्यूएशन होना चाहिए एंड ऑल. बट वैल्यूएशन इज अ वैलिडेशन. आई थिंक वी ऑल्सो सीक, एवरीवन एल्स विल बी सीकिंग ऑल्सो.
राइट आनंद, वही मतलब आई एग्री टू बी, वो मतलब फंडामेंटली वही हम कि लॉन्ग लास्टिंग कंपनी एक्चुअली फाइनेंशियल मैट्रिक्स बढ़िया हो. और यार पेपर देखिए, एंटरप्रेन्योर का लाइफ में हाई बहुत कम होता है, लो 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 होता है. तो पेपर में निकलता है सीरीज बी, सीरीज सी, यूनिकॉर्न, वो मजा तो आता है. सो वैल्यूएशन के लिए आई वोंट से कि हम $1 बिलियन वैल्यूएशन चेस कर रहे हैं, पर वो टैग, हाँ वो तो मतलब है, झूठ बोलूंगा अगर बोलूंगा नहीं वो मजा नहीं आएगा. कहीं ना कहीं तो अच्छा लगेगा यार, आप यूनिकॉर्न बन रहे हो, आएगा. बट फंडामेंटल वी नो वी वांट टू बिंग ए लॉन्ग लास्टिंग कंपनी जहां मेट्रिक्स सही है. वो लूप में नहीं जाना चाहते वेर वी रेज मनी, वैल्यूएशन बढ़ाते जा रहे, पर पीछे डर है कि यार नेक्स्ट राउंड मनी कम्स तब मैं फंडामेंटल मेट्रिक्स सही करूंगा. नाउ वी आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि इवन नेक्स्ट राउंड आए कि ना आए, आवर मेट्रिक्स आर फाइन, नेक्स्ट राउंड आएगा, वैल्यूएशन आएगा. मतलब वी डोंट वांट टू गेटिंग इनटू दैट लूप इज वेरी इजी. एंड आई डोंट ब्लेम एनीवन, क्योंकि देखिए एक कंपनी बनाने में 30 साल लगता है. यू नेम एनी बड़ी कंपनी, या स्टार्टअप्स आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू मेक ए बिग कंपनी इन 7 साल और
हाँ.
6 साल, 7 से 8 साल. वहां वहां फाउंडर्स क्यों 7 साल में बनाना होता है, तो गलतियां होगी. उस
ब्रिटिश
गलतियां में
आपका
जब,
होराइजन 30 साल का है.
नहीं हमारा नहीं है, हमारा आनंद नहीं है आपको.
बताएगा यार.
मैं हमारा इतना नहीं है, बट आई एम सेइंग कि somehow I think Bibhu has built in that discipline हम में भी यार, फंडामेंटल्स लाइक.
मैं एक्चुअली आई लाइक दिस 30 year थिंग, राइट? द वे आई सी इट, यू शुड build your company and take it to IPO in 10 years,
यस.
and after that continue to run the company for 20 more years. If you compound for 20 years at just 20%, that's 38 times, almost 40 times, right? So that is a huge outcome. Victor,
Yes.
you're saying something.
Hey, Anand, there are a couple of other things also. Matlab, historically, also, if I have to be very truthful, historically we have been poor at raising funds, and historically we have been good at running business. So that also plays. Whether we get definitely, I think that validation actually gives us a lot more energy. But I think as these guys mentioned, as Vibhu and Brijesh mentioned, that's not the be it all. I think we would get a even bigger kick if there is a validation from a customer point of view as well, more than the external validation.
True, true, true. Okay, tell me a little bit about culture that you have right now, right? I mean, you guys you moved to a better office, and Bibhu is already complaining about the costs. You don't need to because you are not really burning a lot of money, right? But you're still worried about
No,
costs,
no, we are not burning any money actually.
right?
So we are generating cash month on month.
Right.
That is not a question, but we have not reached the metrics that we should be reaching towards. Huh.
आनंद अभी विभू वही मैट्रिक्स ला रहे कि अगर आईपीओ में हम डेब्यू करते ये मैट्रिक्स टिक होने चाहिए अरे बोले तो अभी वो
Bibhu,
हमें उस मैट्रिक्स पहले प्रॉफिटेबल था अभी आ रहा है कि आरओई कितना होना चाहिए आरओई इतना होना चाहिए
Bibhu, you
उसी
are
पे लग गए हैं
tracking
अभी
ROE already, is it?
हाँ जी।
You are already tracking return on equity.
हाँ, कर रहा हूँ बट अभी वो नंबर सही नंबर पे पहुंचे नहीं है तो वी आर ट्राइंग टू रीच दैट। अगले साल का कुछ कुछ टारगेट्स थे
हाँ,
बट अभी मुझे पता चला कि थोड़ा फैंसीफुल टारगेट्स थे मेरे।
hmm,
जब टीम्स के साथ एक्चुअली बातचीत हुआ तो टारगेट्स आर गेटिंग रिवाइज्ड डाउनवर्ड्स
right.
but yeah, but we are tracking those and those are going to be our key decision making factors over the next 2 to 3 years.
True,
So
true.
yes.
And it's good to see those financial metrics also, right? And work backwards. Possibly long way to go, right? Don't become too smug. Yeah, true. Maybe Brijesh and Victor, right? I mean, if you were to go back, right, in your early days of becoming entrepreneurs and early days of Propelled also, what would you have done differently, right? I mean, you started, this is your fourth company, for Victor at least, right? It's the fourth company, right? What would you have
Yes.
done different? Now that you discovered you have a business, good team.
लेट मी आनंद आंसर दिस फर्स्ट एंड देन आई थिंक लेट विक्टर आंसर इसमें आनंद फ्रॉम अ मैक्रो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑल्दो एजुकेशन इज अ बिग मार्केट एजुकेशन में मे बी वी वुड हैव स्टार्टेड विद द मार्केट जो बड़ा होगा मे बी आई वुड हैव वो करता मतलब बोथ मतलब हमने वी टुक द लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट उसके भी पॉजिटिव है वी सर्वाइव बट
Yeah,
मे बी आई वुड हैव क्योंकि हर 2 साल में यार मार्केट छोटा है क्या उसको नॉट मार्केट छोटा वो सेगमेंट छोटा है कि अगेन रीबिल्ट मे बी आई वुड हैव 2 साल फोकस करके प्रोडक्ट्स बनाता सबसे बड़ा सो दैट सेट हो गया तो बढ़ते जाए मे
yeah.
बी आई एम नॉट श्योर अभी रेट्रो में सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है
Yeah, but वो ब्रिजेश क्या होता है ना कि sometimes you need to solve for the next round also, right?
यस
And you
यस
need to
यस
pluck some low hanging fruits and
यस
buy time for the long term, right? So long term is not a
हाँ
given.
हाँ मतलब अभी कैपेबिलिटी पे थोड़ा विश्वास हो गया कर लेंगे तब तो वी हैड आवर क्वेश्चंस तो
हाँ,
लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट वाज द बेस्ट थिंग
और तब ऐसा भी नहीं था कि आपको लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए फंड किया गया है, right?
राइट
Yeah,
राइट
I
राइट
mean, you unfortunately, I'm the investor, but like you, I was also expecting कि यार ये 2 साल में तो हो ही जाएगा अगला round, right? मतलब so it's not too long a time to sort of say, okay, I will, actually go and discover a bigger market but tougher market, right? You will gravitate towards the easier market. Victor, what would you do differently?
Anand, in my
Choice
mind,
of business
actually,
or a choice of people?
Anand, honestly, nothing comes to my mind. As in, I feel like we have taken the decisions which had to be taken at that point of time. When it comes to the market, also, I felt ki maybe I differ from Brijesh ki wahan pe maybe we didn't have that capability to be able to take that sort of a open that sort of a market at that point of time. We had to take that low hanging wala fruit. Maybe we could have probably done a little better with respect to raising our fundraise. We haven't probably timed it well, or we were probably not aggressive enough, or we were probably not. we were not able to sort of show the larger vision to an investor and get them on board as aggressively as we could have. That has also helped us out, as Bibu mentioned, that that entire COVID period sort of took us to a different trajectory of austerity, which would have been hard to do and which would have set our base maybe slightly different if we would have gone that path. But with respect to people, I'm happy with the sort of people we have worked with until now. Before this round, we have only worked with very young guys, people who have had. I'm very happy that
I like the fact that you guys are not analyzing on what you could have done better, right? And it's good to be in that mode. I can't think of what you could have done better, frankly, from my perspective. The fact of what you guys did achieved in the COVID period, right? That was phenomenal. Probably like in a 20 crore rupee fundraise, you were disbursing 30 crores a month on month and continuously and profitably, and that's amazing. In fact, it remains that way even after raising your next round. I haven't seen many companies which have remained profitable so early and so consistently. So, guys, we're very happy. We hold your achievements in very high regard, and I also feel that education and funding for education is a key driver for our country, right? Right? This will go on for, we have to skill like millions and millions of people, right?
absolutely.
This will go on for next 20, 30 years. It's a good horizon to have.